that now has become so sought after both in LPL and internationally. Just wait and see. As you said, Kaisa for okay, wasn't too bad in the second game. But Lyric, it's about the pick that goes with it, because we know that there's a lot open that can be sacrificed depending on where BLG go.
Yeah, like you said, the Rel. I would love the Rel if they were able to flex it. I even think it's still just a strong standalone pick, since you know that JDG are a team that will. Separating the Maokai Jayce, definitely an option. But it's just so hard after what we saw last game, right? Because if you end up picking the Maokai, you kind of are just running it back. Just obviously now being on different sides, right? Because then JDG would just be able to lock in the Sejuani once again. I guess they would need a different bot lane combination to come out, because we did have the Rakan in the last game, but it seems like they can't be bothered by that. And I think it's a good choice, right? Not getting too emotional, maybe trying to stay a little bit more analytical about it, and not being too afraid of kind of the results of last game with the champs you're picking.
But now it does mean that JDG Lyric have this pick again. Remember, this was banned in game number 2 because of how well Ruler did in game 1. And the Rel is available. Yep. I mean, look, there you go. For a reason, right? As I think before, why did I say it was Ezreal before?
I mean, they do have an Ezreal skin as well, but it's Haru's Ezreal skin. So
yeah, Ezreal Jungle.
Exactly.
Oh,
so
nice.
You were right on the money with the skin existing. Just I mean, that's always a weird one too, right? Like when they started adding the extra skins and things like that. Coming through. But there it is. We're getting the Sejuani with the Jayce once again. This time the Xayah being open, I feel like does change the dynamic a little bit, but I'd say maybe even in the favor of JDG, because now you're going to have the self-peel coming through. But there it is. I was thinking in my mind, like, what change do you make with BLG now if you are potentially running this draft back? Because you need to change somewhere. And I think changing top is a good call, just from the fact that, like, we haven't gotten to see Bin have an impact so far. In game 1, he got ganked early, and, like, that was kind of it. And then JDG took over the game. Game 2, he was having a great time in lane, but not able to translate it into the map at all. So on the Gwen, he's going to need to be able to get more done. Doesn't mean you have mixed damage coming through, you know, from jungle and top lane. So you'd expect, you know, maybe you do just say, I don't care about the matchup, run another tank. You would expect to not get ganked all too much. And you say, hey, Bin, you're going to win lane again, but are you able to impact these team fights?
I mean, as you said, you know, yeah, he's been really down in the dumps a bit. So it feels like BLG want to prioritize Bin even further, give him a better matchup here for top side, and maybe change that dynamic completely. Right now, JDG are banning away the other solo lane, and for Yagao, he's not going to get his hands on the Tristana that's made it all the way through to the second phase. Another thing as well, Lyric, we've already got so much AP. The Azir would normally be a ban here, but hell, maybe you just take away another AD mid or an engage tool. As they say, as BLG, now their option, what the hell are they going to pull mid? Or even support for that matter?
I mean, support, we do still have the Rel left open. So you at least, you know, going to be able to find a source of engage there, because I feel like that's something the composition really needs is engage, even if they needed to go a bit deeper down the pool, right? Alistar still being, you know, alive and well. But I also wonder about mid, because Yagao hasn't really shown anything. Like, champions like Yone exist, right? With Cream pulling that one out, like, even in their playoff series. So there definitely exist other AD mid lane options.
Yeah.
But I guess you also could theoretically flex the Kaisa to mid if you wanted, and then get like a stronger source of AD in the bot lane.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions, isn't there? Like, I mean, I like to pull out the Yone. You know, there's other things towards mid we just saw as well. I will say, as JDG start looking at this Gnar, it's a different angle for 369 this game as well. It's not tank 369, as they're going to add another engage tool to the fire, and possibly for missing as well. Who's thinking about the Braum, the Rel that's still up and available, but it's an Alistar angle on the other side. Do they care enough?
That's going to be the question, right? I mean, they already have, like, the engage coming out from the Sejuani, and then, right, kind of the so-and-so engage coming out from Gnar if 369 was able to find a huge impact. But it would be nice to have a bit more Braum, fulfilling best of both worlds, right? You could be able to find those knockups with your ultimate and provide the CC. But now here comes the question. Because we were wondering, hey, does he lean on the Yone? Do you maybe swap Kaisa to mid and then pick a different AD carry? No. They're going to really have a ton of magic damage. You expect Elk to go like the full AD build for the Kaisa here. But it's going to make, you know, people like Sejuani, hell, even the Gnar, like itemizing so much easier in this game for a good amount of the damage that BLG are going to be throwing out. And I think it also lends to potential advantages to come out from JDG early on if Knight can get going. So, yeah, I'm kind of scared for this one looking at BLG when we're saying, hey, maybe getting Xun more involved in the mid lane would be your best scenario. The opportunity's still there. You have the CC set up from the Maokai, the damage from the Azir. You know,
find out if that's true, because if they 3-0 this, they're going to be a shoo-in for yet another finals, for their golden road to continue, for their grand slam to be up in the air, as it's one more game in this series to lock in world for JDG. BLG now have to stop that.
Every player on this JDG roster was at Worlds last year. I need to maybe not care about Worlds for now, as JDG were hoping for something spicy, but not able to find it. But yeah, despite the fact that this roster doesn't get the right, all 5 of these players also making Worlds last year. Or of course, Gen G, Knight with top esports.
Yep.
So, like, they're definitely expected to do it. But the shenanigans don't end, man. You know, yeah, I don't care about Worlds anymore. I like that JDG kind of wandering the map at minute 1. Hoping to find something. That's the power of the Braum. I mean, you know, you go back, Braum and Olaf kind of always talked about as those 2 level 1 kings. Knight, though, living on a knife's edge right now.
Yeah, he really is, isn't he? I mean, again, with an Alistar, all it takes is a flash Q, and game could start the opposite of what JDG want. Because, Lyric, you did talk about it. BLG might need some time here. Because once they get rolling, I feel like if we get to a team fight, if we get to an all-out 5v5 brawl, my God, does this team have some scaling.
Yeah, they do. I mean, just really strong components across the board. The Azir there, the Gwen. Again, you might have to worry about itemization a little bit. Elk will have to really pick up the slack. But yeah. Elk is someone who we know can do it. Got a pentakill in his life. The thing I'm most scared of for potentially JDG this game is just Gnar being a more volatile champion in lane. You know, when he's mini, like, Bin will potentially have chances to find solo kills on him. So by going with this more bruiser side lane option, he opens himself up to potential punishment if Bin, you know, can keep performing in lane like you expect him to.
Well, he's going to have to, because mid is going the same direction as before, Lyric. I know it's the matchup, but even though Knight missed the Shock Blast combo, I mean, Yagao is once again getting punished here on the Azir. And this time it might not even be the LeBlanc like it was in game 1, but still you expect Knight to continue dominating.
Knight going to be able to maintain pressure, and look at the minimap. Kanavi once again trying to be the aggressor, wants to make his way around and come for a gang topside. We've seen this exact thing play out before where Xun was on his Krugs too.
We have.
And
but Xun's nearby. I mean, 369 takes a bit of a chunk. Now, how quickly can enemy
jungler get
through? Xun needs to, might even need to flash, or he might need to get a move on, and 369 could be the new target, getting the true damage. Bin flashes away. Xun now here, but Kanavi holds onto his summoner. You still get top flash, and 369 doesn't take a heavy trade, so a win for JDG in the early game.
And we're seeing it consistently where, like, Kanavi is willing to go for, like, 3 camps into early gank. Xun doing more to prioritize, just clearing out his jungle, being able to get ahead in levels and make things happen. And it's really paying off for JDG and really just setting BLG behind. I guess that's not what's setting BLG behind, but the play's coming through.
Oh, into turret. Missing's in trouble. Has to flash away. The trample going to get the stun. There's the second skin proc from Elk. Trying to find Raw, but he steps up to the wave. Ignite now down onto On. Even though Missing takes a heavy trade, it is Ruler who fights back as in the top side. Meanwhile, there's no back here from Knight as in again. Once more, Elk jumping up, but Ruler just turns his target. Elk has to flash away. On's now the new target. The concussive blows forces his flash as well as JDG's 2v2. Just when you think they're losing, they turn it around again.
And Ruler, once again, having to burn no summoners in the exchange. On and Missing both blowing theirs, but Elk losing a flash. So for Kanavi, when we've been praising him so much about his proactivity, no, man. Elk, you got to get out of there, buddy.
Oh, God. We're looking mid, though, because hang on. Yagao's turning around onto Knight. He flashes away. Doesn't want to match because he can't. Remember, the flash was burnt before. But Knight having to burn his is a good sign of life, at least for BLG, when we're watching this bot.
Hysterics is not stopping, and even Shun's making his way over now.
Oh, damn.
He should be fine. It finally gets stopped, as we're going to see here of exactly how the flash was forced. Just going with the full-on engage, being scared of Kanavi being able to jump in, lock him down, both of them play off that passive. And a good call by Yagao flashing pretty early.
And as Knight gets forced out, remember he did teleport back in as Yagao's just burnt his own, but I think we need to quickly talk about the bottom side. That was CS denied. It's a 10 CS lead plus plating for Ruler. Double longsword back into the lane. Might be matched by Elk, but Lyric, we have to remember that this series, I mean, I feel like Rule's really been putting his feet in the sand and enjoying a walk around the beach so far in the first 2 games.
He really has. I mean, their 2v2 has been immaculate. You know, they've had a lot of jungle attention to play with, but even without it, they've been the ones delivering. We saw the patience of them holding summoners in game 1, and that really being the difference once we started getting to the 3v3s. And now here, you know, being up boots on his opponent, movement speed, always nice to help you, especially like run down some of these plays and chase the opponent is the ward, I believe, spawning him out when he'd walked out of the brush for a moment. Not going to be able to deliver any type of gank just yet. But still, JDG going to keep up pressure. They're maintaining pressure in the mid lane matchup despite the fact that Knight almost did get solo killed. And they're, you know, able to put up pressure in the 2v2 and bot.
And start Dragon because of it as well. On is just peeking his head in to see if it's really being done, but if he goes any further, Knight will collapse. There's no jungler here. Shun's in base. They're trying to threaten as Elk steps up to Raw, but there's a level advantage. And now Elk has lost half his HP bar. He was already 20 CS behind as the wave meets again. Lyric On's trying to buy time as Bin's come down at level 6 to say g'day.
And this has been, I think, feeling that he hasn't been able to find huge impact in this game so far.
Bin!
And he wants to. He's giving up, you know, losing CS in top. Might potentially as a play, but look at the rotation.
They might find more because onto missing now. The damage going to be done. Second skin is piling into him. Ruler now fighting from the back line as Needlework flies through. Bin gets first blood. Dragon resets. He was losing a lot topside as Yagao has to go cover, but he's missing stuff mid. Lyric, we have to ask, was that worth it?
Still, I mean, the fact that he just lost 1 CS, you know, to the turret, I believe only 1 or 2 must have gone down top from when it was crashing there. It doesn't look like they've actually ended up losing out on all too much for the fact that they brought Bin down with how quick Yagao was able to get up to that top side.
I just love it. We've got a jungler and Bin at this point on the Gwen. I mean, that's great. First blood over to the Gwen. As you said, I mean, that's 1 CS difference in top side. Ninja Tabi picked up, and he'll be walking back to that top lane, not missing too much with the cannon wave now up here for JDG's 369. So we look across the board. Gold actually only down about 500-600 gold in JDG's favor after all said and done.
Oh, On might find Ruler. Oh, actually, no, for missing.
He's now coming in. Once missing. Second skin getting close to being proc here again. Trample's good. Missing has to stay in place as Shun. Now rotates in, but he's in a low health bar. Ruler pulls in the feathers, steps up again. No fear out of this AD carry, no matter who runs at him.
No, just not even really needing to worry about anything. I mean, he has both of his summoners up, which is why I believe On looking for missing there with how far forward he was, hoping he'd knock him a little bit closer to the team and that the engage should come through. But nothing comes out. Maybe if Shun had committed more aggressive with like a, you know, go in, twisted advance, set up Elk. But we saw the damage from Ruler. Then maybe Ruler just pops ulti. He gets a huge root and the play flips for JDG.
Level difference, 25 CS. I'll keep reminding you guys at home how good it's looking here for this JDG 80 carry. As across the board, it's looking good for Bin with that move down. Again, I still can't believe he walked all that way.
Well, he did TP to the mid lane turret.
Yeah, I was going to correct myself. I feel like with teleport and cooldown, that must have been it. But Lyric, as we come back to
you don't need to correct yourself. We correct each other here.
Ah, okay, that's good because bloody hell, you're gonna be running out of voice with the amount of times you have to do it for me. But hey, Dragon's going to be done. BLG do get it in the end. So after all said and done, after that big play with Kanavi starting it off, BLG a couple of minutes later are finally going to pick it up.
So BLG gonna get that first one on the board, which is nice. Also nice, like whenever it gets picked up a bit later in my mind, because we don't have to worry about some kind of like early timer really deciding the game and giving us a lot of room to breathe with the fights coming through. And speaking of fights, like honestly, one of the more unimpactful early games.
Yep.
Feels kind of hard to say that because there has still been like teams trying to force action, but no kills really going through other than that one that Bin's been able to find. I think both teams being fine with taking it a bit slower with how the compositions have panned out, but still for BLG, it seems like wanting to dodge out on that bot lane 2v2 with how much Ruler is getting, and it's going to allow Ruler to just pick up even more plates in this bot lane by himself.
Especially with Elk now being shown on topside wave. I mean, Bin hasn't moved yet. Ruler having the time of his life. This guy playing Pac-Man, except there's no NPC to eat him up. Just free fruit for him as BLG take the Herald on the top side of the meanwhile. But Ruler might even just get first turret blood at this rate, Lyric. I mean, no one from BLG cares.
Do they really 3v4 this, though? JDG, I was going to say, like, I feel like you'd be risking a lot of momentum that you're getting with Ruler. So they back off in the end. Feels like a bit of wasted time, but there really isn't too much to get on the opposite side of the map anyway, with the fact that Ruler's already doing this himself. Everyone's showing no camps up in enemy jungle. I don't know if they, would be aware of that because no one's really walked into the enemy jungle in recent times, but still.
He got 4 points!
4,000. So yeah, full like 1.1 create. Hold up.
Double Gnar ult into the wall. They jump straight onto On. That was a beautiful ult from 369. They didn't expect it as Elk cleanses away, but it's too late. Shun now jumps on in. Concussive blow's going to stack going up as he's now in place, falling forward. Has to flash away. Just when you look away, one member of JDG steps up.
Ruler, you need to be careful. Yagao's flash.
He doesn't flash or heal.
I know, exactly. I was just saying, I know Ruler has his thumbs up. I know Ruler has his ultimate. But my God, like these guys, I'm with you. They must be machines. How do you not heal there? How do you worry about absolutely nothing in that situation?
That's nuts. There's no way. There's actually no way that Ruler doesn't burn anything on one more hit. I mean, again, it's just been wild throughout this series. While it is a 2-0, it's been a wild ride for both of these teams. As Lyric, I have to mention, with that play from BLG seemingly to pick up the Herald, they lost so many plate spot, and then this happened.
Like, not expecting 369 to be able to come in. I like missing two, connecting with the flash and the passive to try to get a bit more done on. That was very close to 2 kills, just right there. And then even once again, Q being connected, they're able to run down the Maokai and get another one. So they're just taking advantage of everything. And again, it just feels like BLG really just falling apart at the seams.
30 CS lead, plates galore, Rulers a level up, the kills in topside. Guess what? That one went over to 369. They got Flash and Cleanse out of Elk. They got Flash out of Shun as well. Dragon's not up for 2 minutes, but remember, BLG might have picked that up. They might have picked up the Herald, but they are trailing in gold. And Lyric, we know these 2 items on JDG, you're talking about, like, the all-in damage is going to be insane before BLG can respond with some consistent DPS of their own.
Exactly, right? The burst is going to be able to come out. The Jayce is getting large. You're going to have damage on Ruler. Still, at least, we see some vision clearing coming out now for JG on bot side. You have a great, vision line in River. But that one ward behind Dragon Pit didn't get spotted, so might still be able to keep a bit of tabs on where Kanavi is. But they're really going to need to start fighting to have some information of their own. We even see right now, missing on the minimap, maybe even roaming up to affect top side.
Trying to. For now, BLG are making their play bot side as the counterpunch, if you will. A ward's going to spot Sapling over the ward, so Ruler pays the respect. But 55 seconds, BLG getting in nice and early to set up some of the vision control around this neutral, while JDG stop the play towards the top side and start moving down themselves.
Yeah, just getting some vision down for now, setting Kanavi up to go for the steal on the red buff. Like you said, with Dragon coming up soon, I wonder if JDG are going to feel more pressed to get that, or if they just want to keep further in the gold trade and try to end this game before, things like Soul even become relevant, because that's also an option too. Looking towards top, trying to get more plates here before this tower falls, and maybe potentially diving in, but looks like that's not in the cards, as for now, Kanavi just keeps stealing away Shun's camps.
Herald going to be placed in the meanwhile as well. 15 seconds to that Dragon. And remember that Bin 369 do have teleport if this gets rowdy, as plating is shared between Yagao and Shun. Kanavi coming in for a flank, though this is dangerous, but he is spotted on a ward. So BLG will just walk towards River and seemingly walk towards the second Dragon with the way this map state is.
Knight has TP, so it's just going to instantly TP back to lane. Dustblade now being picked up. So Mythic's being matched on both sides because Crowd of the Shadow Queen now for Yagao. Ruler, this is so dangerous for him to walk this close by himself. Going to try and make his way around now.
So the blast cone might use that to get back to the team as teleport going to be burned. Okay, guys, get ready for another 5v5 as On goes into the unbreakable world, but as the double pulverize, he separates missing. Shun jumps on as Elk tries to hit him away, but Bin's now joined in. Let's wait. Gigabin at the ready. The fists are in the air as they get themselves a Dragon. They get themselves a pick, and BLG this time don't overforce Lyric. They find the kill, they find the advantage, and they get out.
Yeah, just playing it really smooth, right?
Wait.
Finding the engages. Ruler finally forced to burn a summoner. Having to be afraid there of Yagao, because Yagao didn't use the Emperor's Divide in the last play.
Ruler's now coming back towards a bit. He's trying to stop the back from Yagao after all said and done, but Hey, that's a good sign. I mean, BLG are now only 2,000 gold behind, but Lyric, they are dragon stacking with this composition. And it feels relevant when, you know, last game, even though there was a gold lead, I feel like BLG weren't this calm, weren't this concentrated, and weren't coming out with some advantages. I don't know if I'm just S-talking here because I'm just trying to give confidence to BLG, but still, I think the point stands that they're
it
in a
doesn't matter,
position.
like whether it's true or not, BLG needs some hype right now. And this is where, again, as an unbiased third party, we can provide that hype for the benefit of a close game. And that's all you're trying to do, as we see here, right? Trying to protect his team, throwing up the shield for the engage so it can't be followed through on. But then the knockbacks start coming through on, of course, being able to flash away and then having all those resistances from the ult means he survives. It was very close to being a one-for-one trade where both supports just go down in the end, but not going to be able to happen. And that's really without both top laners either able to find an impact in that fight, right? We had the flank come in from Bin, but not able to deal much damage at 369. You know, like huge, big Gnar ultimate that I think 369 and a lot of us are looking at him to provide.
Already picked up one in the top side against the 2v2 of BLG, as Herald now being contested over. JDG are here first, but there's good wards by BLG to spot it out as Missing might be caught out here, but stand beside me. Over to Ruler, over the wall, has been now in threat, but Kanavi won't pull the trigger. Instead, Herald resets, and BLG look to draw it out again.
JDG playing this one so patient. I'd like to see him play a bit more off the accelerated shot class. I'm not sure if Knight's been throwing them out in mid and trying to hit Elk with them, and maybe Elk has just been sidestepping.
Woo!
Didn't sidestep that one.
No way. I mean, that hurts. Again, pops the pot straight away, but Elk without it could be dangerous as he engage onto Missing this time. They all dive on in. Yagao holding the ult for now, but Bin zoning them off with the needleworkers. 369 into the backline with Ruler yet again is taking the pieces away from BLG. Kanavi on top of Elk forces the cleanse, but how did they do it? JDG lose their support, but now they're trying to fight for more. It might be Missing Den, but Yagao without his ulti in commission as 369 forced the flush out of Elk, but Kanavi's here. Now on. JDG out of nowhere yet again.
And JDG now gonna be able to push this wave in top. We see Ruler taking turn in mid, and now 5k gold lead. 5k gold lead for JDG. It feels like those dragons, again, not mattering whatsoever because JDG, they're just playing to accelerate the game and kind of recreate the magic that we found in game one. And hell, they even picked up the Herald for their troubles.
Oh, this must be a mental block. This must be like wearing a tinfoil hat in the 80s. You know, trying to block out all the signals. BLG just can't get JDG out of their head.
And I feel like the big difference maker here is with 369 coming on the flank, it pulls BLG's focus to where they have to start running away. Bin and Shun get forced one way, do a great job forcing the others top side, and Ruler was free hitting in the first part of that exchange because of 369 and Kanavi and the pressure they were putting up. Elk gonna do the most he could with the summoners. Once Kanavi jumps over the wall, they're gonna be able to find it. But it's just those different angles and the different ways that JDG are attacking that team fight. I was scared that 369's flank might be too slow, but things like the ultimate coming out from Missing, buying so much time for that to happen. And of course, then he can just hop over the wall and become part of the party.
And when he's got health targets as well, I mean, he's got Hyper. Remember that Hyper just does so much damage to some of the tankier targets as well, especially this earlier on. So it feels like for 369, I mean, he's in form, not only in this game, but today too. Item advantage in that top side as Yagao is going to be locked in place. Crown of the Shadow Queen gives him time, but he shifts out of there. Great ulti as he slides and glides, but now Missing is here to provide. Ulti hits Bin! What a snipe as Yagao with a sidestep down. The pink young boy, the other half, will narrowly avoid his old friend as BLG making a hyper play towards mid. Herald, though, is going to race them.
So it looks like it should just end up being one turret for one turret at the end of the day. But JDG, they can now start pivoting towards Dragon. That's spawning in 1 second. They have more members closer by. And once again, multiple angles they can kind of threaten to fight from, but 369 still being in lane. You have to worry about the accelerated shot glass in mid. So at the end of the day, BLG are going to give it up, but great sidestep from Yagao. I thought it was a bit sure.
Oh, Knight has to flash away. Nature's Grasp is following as well as JDG are trying to converge on this. Look at 369. Maybe going against it now, though, as JDG didn't want to overstep their mark. They got Dragon here, Lyric. They do get flash out of Knight. That's from BLG's angle, but it is a 6k gold lead with that bottom side turret and almost pushing towards an inhib turret as well. we look at the replay, at least a play from BLG, who are still trying to fight to get into the grand finals through this upper bracket.
Yeah, BLG. I mean, if BLG lose here, they are not down and out. They live to fight another day. They have to go meet LNG, which is scary when LNG pushed JDG all the way to 5 games.
True.
I think definitely would prefer, if they're going to have to potentially play 5 games anyway, I think they'd prefer it be here. They end up winning and then guarantee that spot in the final. But it is looking so grim right now. Almost 6K gold lead. We see the amount of pressure 369 is putting up. He has that force of nature, and we hit on, right? You're playing against that triple AP threat on top side. It's also where all the kills have gone. I mean, Yagao, Shun, and Bin holding the 3 kills for BLG. So that MMR are going to get tremendous value.
All night. Here we go again, trying to get the crown out. As Yagao last time, it was the Sejuani ult that Kanavi is not going to throw down this time around. Threatening as Yagao plays super defensive, but Lyric, it's one step away right now for JDG, having the lead in the palm of their hands as Bin versus 369 continues to be enticing. Gnar about to come up though, and Bin wants none of it. One more step towards locking in Worlds. The first team in the world to do so with a win here. Remember, based on points, at bare minimum, they will be 2nd seed. A win in the championship, 1st seed. And JDG's golden road can continue for this year, of course, with a championship win. But, I mean, this is the team that won MSI for a reason. This is the team that clapped the cheeks of BLG in the grand finals of MSI too. You know, BLG are not a bad team.
6 times this year.
6 times this year. Again, I've got the scores. 2-3 versus BLG, or 3-2, excuse me, in round 4 in spring. 3-1 versus BLG in spring finals. 3-1 versus BLG at MSI finals. So every single time BLG have been mentally boomed against this team this year. Even in regular season, it was a 2-1 at the start of spring in week 1. It is just insane how BLG can't overcome their new nemesis. They can't get past JDG no matter how hard they try.
No, and now, hoping for a bit of a miracle, we did just have Nashers completed by Bin. It's going to give him a bit more DPS, a bit more damage. Able to come out, but you're still just making it further and further ahead for JDG solo laners as well, right? Before we were just on 2 items, now some components built up for 369. Same thing going to happen in mid lane. And this is before we even have, like, magic resist really coming out for people like Knight. Hexshrink already built up for Ruler, as Shun has to get out of there.
He does indeed. I mean, Kanavi always a threat as JDG are not stopping there. Baron's up as well, Lyric. We don't have a Dragon Timer. So with all these wards getting cleared out, JDG are trying to threaten that they're going to do the Purple Worm.
Exactly, right? They're trying to pull them out from their safety net of their base. You know, put that question mark in their mind, be like, hey, we can be on this at any point, and then try and set up a pick that way, probably with the Glacial Prison coming out from Kanavi. And they know they're going to have to actually start turning on it for real. So BLG actually end up falling for this. And they're doing it so fast!
It's a 4K trying to poke it down. We need a steal here. Shun needs to be the hero, but he can't do it. Baron is gone in an instant, and guess what? The crown is gone from Yagao, missing with a quick winner's bite, is going to be only slowed by the Glacial Prison. But 369 as he goes into Mininar, it's now the threat of range as BLG try to get the inside track on mid, but Baron has gone down. BLG's hopes in this game are going down. They have to make a play fast.
I feel like this Baron might have sealed their fate. This Baron could be the ticket, JDG's ticket to Worlds. A bit of gold back, but you're still 7K gold behind, and now you're not going to have any way of contesting the priority pressure on.
There's a flash into Mininar, but 369 has a flash of his own. On is taking up the damage, but he can't absorb Ruler at the moment. Gnar comes through and locked against the wall is Shun, but he's in a bad spot to teleport in the backline. BLG, this could be it. The root comes through from Ruler, who's already picked up a double kill. There's no way this guy gets a penta. No way. Yagao trying to force out the ult. He gets it, but flush from Ruler. A triple kill on the elf. Ruler, is he going to get another one? Ruler, no! Knight takes it away, but Lyric, JDG may have just done it.
The peel from JDG in these team fights is absolutely insane. Hysterics, that started off as a 4v5 for a majority of that fight.
Look at the death time. It's 5 seconds on Shun. 369 has himself demolished. It might not be the end of the series here. Might not be the end of the game. But JDG are going to move to a 10K gold lead and show us that they are head and heels over Bilibili Gaming.
JDG they go into BLG's house and they take what they want. their PC, their bed. You know, BLG's parents are now their parents.
Their family.
Their jobs,
that's
their
right.
job. Exactly.
That's right.
They take literally everything
How many
they
kids
want.
have you got? Literally, you are not getting anything. No say, as JDG show us why they are one of the best team fighting teams, if not the, in the world.
Yeah, and right, BLG are desperate. That's what this play is. 369 immediately flashed up. But look at this. Kanavi peeling for Ruler. You have the other dynamic duo on the opposite side preventing any play coming out from the Maokai. And, I mean, their front line is so big. This was a 4v5 the whole time. Knight is just joining in. And it's going to be here where Yagao, they need to make a play, so they go for it. But the flash is beautiful. Heal comes out. And then, look, Kanavi and Missing instantly jump back. And no, it's protect the president. It's make sure this guy lives, and he keeps putting down the damage.
Look at this guy again. Onto Elk now for the follow-through. 369 about to go. Gnar cleanses out. That was from hyper slow. As Yagao loses crown again, BLG on death's door. Now for over the wall, On is going to try a miracle play, but Knight just says no. BLG have tried and tried again in this series, but JDG, spring champions for a reason, now looking to move into the finals. Yet again, onto Sean, concussive blow, stops him in place. On tries to bring it back as look at Elf, trying to free fire as Bin has come in way too late. Bin left on his lonesome. JDG have double inhibitor up, and Lyric as he gets chased away by Missing. You know that JDG have a date with Destiny. They've got the Golden Road calling. Our spring champions, MSI champions, have continued their curse on BLG. They will not be usurped by these up-and-comers. The defending champions will lock in their 2023 Summer Grand Finals to be the first team in the world to return to the world stage where Destiny's calling out their name.
JDG absolutely stepping up, delivering, like performing at the peak of their power, right? Because we always knew that at the top of their game, like this is JDG. But there were some question marks. Getting pushed to 5 games against LNG, how much did that mean? I feel like it's hard to know that before we saw, you know, LNG take down top esports. But now it's like no questions asked. JDG continue to be able to beat anybody they contend with in the LPL.